Canes fans, we are back with a post-game show here, and this is going to be one of the tougher post-game shows we've dealt with here on the Mark Rogers channel. We had some hope today, guys. We had we had a drive set up. We had everything good to go, but the football gods just were not going to hand that win to us, I don't think. I got my buddy, the Jet 305, jumping in. He was at the game. What'd you see today, man?
I'm not gonna lie, today was difficult. Honestly, I saw Leonard Taylor. I'm just gonna speak on the positives first. I think Leonard Taylor looked good when he came in the game. He had an opportunity. I think he looked good. You know, it makes me wonder why he hasn't played, more often, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's a continuation of things we've already known. We got some young players that should be playing more, and they're not. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. It felt like, in my personal opinion, the crowd was nervous about it. It's just I don't understand. You drive down, you're looking good, and I don't understand how you don't play for the win there, man. You do 3 straight runs right up the middle, and it's so frustrating, man. Like you don't do an outside run or something. Maybe you throw a little screen. Like, come on, man. Like Borregales missed the same type of kick against Michigan State. You feel me? You shouldn't have to come down and put everything on a freshman kicker. I think Borregales is going to be a good kicker for us, but honestly, that was a lot of pressure for him, and I'm not surprised he missed. This team under Manny Diaz, every opportunity that we've had to step up, we always squander it. We always do. Every opportunity, every chance we have to flip the script in any type of big moment, we usually don't come up with it. We blow it, and that's just how it is, man.
Jordan, man, we're on here. We were talking about a little bit of the positives we saw, but of course, it's leaning, of course, towards the negative side of it, just for the simple fact of what we saw happen in this game today.
Yeah.
What did you see today? What really stood out to you?
Man, it was kind of the game was kind of all over the place, right? Like there's a few things I noticed, good and bad, right? The good is that a freshman quarterback in his first start against real competition, Tyler Van Dyke, had his ups and downs. Overall, I would give it like a B, right? If I had to grade it, it was a B for a freshman QB. I thought he ended the game really well. He got better as time went on. He looked more settled. Lots of good things there. Cameron Harris, much maligned over the last few weeks. He had himself a ball game, and that's great, right? The offensive line was absolutely horrible for about 3 quarters, and then started to turn it on, and our offense really started to pick up some steam. The young guys on defense also looked fairly between competent and good, right? Like that's great. You want your freshmen to look like they belong on the field, and I think that we saw that from most of them today. So those are the good things. The bad things are obviously we lost, but Virginia, I wasn't impressed by anything Virginia did. People were saying, hey, this Virginia team is sneaky. Their offense is good. I didn't see it. They're not a good football team. That is a middle of the road ACC 4-4 conference schedule type of team, right? I did not see a single impressive thing. I know their quarterback has been putting up stats. He was not good. He was not better than TVD tonight. Okay. So I don't want to hear it that Virginia's frisky this year or whatever. They are not a good football team. We played down to their level, even below their level. And we just didn't look disciplined. It's the same old Manny Diaz thing of us not looking ready for the game when kickoff happens.
It's a thing that's plagued us this entire time through year after year. Alex Perez, thank you for the $4.99 donation.
Thank you, sir.
He was at the game. Sad to see the Rocks so empty and Miami's bench look flat, while I sat right behind Virginia's bench and they were hype all night. That tells you something. If Virginia's bench had more energy than ours did on the visiting side of it, that's a problem. Caleb, did you see anything like that while you were there?
I sat on the visitor side. I was on the visitor side, and there were a few Virginia fans. Let me tell you, they didn't give in the whole game. I mean, look, honestly, man, it's just I'm at a loss for words, to be honest with you. Like, it's just sometimes you get beaten down so much, and you see the same old thing, and you try to have some type of hope. It's just, how many chances did we blow today? We should have picked this guy off 4 times. I mean, bro, that touchdown, that it should have been an interception by Marcus Clark. I mean, that's the Diaz era right there. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong at the worst opportune moment. And it's I mean, you can't even make stuff like that up. It's hilariously bad.
I don't know if you guys.
It's just disappointing because.
Sorry, go ahead, Jordan. My bad.
What Jordan was saying, I think TVD, he showed a lot of guts today. He showed a lot of guts. He struggled. He definitely struggled. He missed some passes. But when we needed him to step up, he balled out. And I think it's a shame we didn't give him the opportunity in those last 2 minutes to try and win the game himself. Because I guarantee you he would have. I think if Lashley wouldn't have been on that, let's just run up the middle and hope to make this field goal. If he would have given him a legit chance to get it done, we're scoring 7 there. They couldn't stop us on that drive. They couldn't even stop us the last 3 possessions we had it. Like, it's disappointing, and it's not surprising because this is the culture at Miami. You're celebrating when you're down like 9-0. You're bringing out the chain, the rings. Dude, Virginia stinks. Like, how garbage that we are, that we lost to these guys? Like, come on, man. It's more of the same, honestly.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Marcus Clark play, that freak touchdown catch. The thing that jumped out to me was Clark was already celebrating, that he broke up that pass while the Virginia wide receiver was still making the play.
Yes.
Like, Clark was standing up celebrating when the catch was made. And it's like, dude, just finish the play. Just finish the play. Like, that's the problem. We're all hype, no substance, man.
Alex, thank you again for the $4.99 donation. He's got a little chiming in here. Virginia players were in each other's faces after every single mistake, while Miami always looked like they were about to cry. This is on Manny. Yes, absolutely. I can't deny any of that whatsoever because this is the essence of Manny Diaz. Yep. Mediocre competition, going to battle with them for 4 quarters, and then having to have a miracle to try to pull it out. Basically what I see is bad coaching, and then the bad coaches depending on their players to save their ass at the end of the game. That's what I see.
Yeah, and I mean the team takes on the personality of the coach. Every time we have these embarrassing losses, whether it was FIU or Clemson or Oklahoma State or UNC or any of these jobs that Manny knows in his head, you can see the wheels turning like, hey, my seat's getting pretty hot. Yeah. He looks like he's going to cry. And I don't mean that as an insult. Like I don't want to cut too low here, right? I'm trying to like make fair analysis. Manny looks absolutely bewildered in games like this. And so why wouldn't our bench look that same way? Like there is no confidence. It's, that's Manny's personality is you can read on his face that he knows that we're in trouble. He knows that he's in trouble. And that disseminates through the locker room. It disseminates through the bench. The whole program knows that that Manny's job is in a lot of trouble.
It permeates through the entire team. The head coach is what your team is going to be at the end of the day, ultimately. His mentality and his mindset is going to be what your team's mentality and mindset is. And before we get going here, I want to thank Charles Orozco for the $4.99 donation. Absolutely. Said, you guys are talking about the last drive of the game. I was at the game, and every single offensive drive was trash. I speak for the entire home side. I mean, hey, man, especially not being able to see any consistency. That was the issue for me today. While, ups and downs are okay with a young quarterback, the play calling is what drove me crazy, Jordan. It drove me absolutely nuts, dude. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about the play calling from Lashley, especially in the first half, but I mean, I could go on and on for days.
Well, I had a tweet about that where I said, like the quarterback battle has seemed actually fairly even to me, even though we're starting Tyler Van Dyke. I said the major difference in this game is Robert Anae versus Rhett Lashley. That like the quarterbacks were essentially the same. Robert Anae put his guys in a much better position to succeed. And the funny, ironic part about this is Robert Anae was connected to our job when we hired Rhett Lashley. And everyone, including myself, Robert Anae used to coach here in Utah at BYU, was shouting from the rooftops, "That'll be a disaster." Okay. But now look at me. I'm saying we got out coached by Robert Anae, okay, on primetime football. So I will eat my crow, there, that we would probably be better off if Robert Anae was calling plays for us.
Leonel Caballero, thank you for the $9.99 donation. His comment here, Manny needs to go. Manny can't coach. You never put the game on the leg of a kicker. He should have gone for the TD. What do you think about that, Caleb?
I mean, he's saying facts. Let me tell you, I was screaming at that whole last drive. I was saying, look, you got to go for the gusto. You don't play for 3 here because Borregales, in my mind, I was thinking he missed the same kick against Michigan State a couple weeks ago. It was a short little kick. He kicked it wide. What he do today? He did the same thing. You can't put yourself in that position where if you miss this, you lose the game. You got, I don't understand it, man. And what Jordan is saying is true. Let me tell you, Lashley, he's stealing money from the university. That's what he's doing. Thievery. He a robber. Because all of this stuff he been saying is cap. That's all he is. He's a capper. He been saying, when he first got introduction, we're going to be a fast physical offense. We're going to get the job done, but you got to trust me, and then you'll see. Well, guess what? I wouldn't trust you because you're a swindler. Anything you say, forget about it, man. Forget it. I'm done with it. Let me tell you, this whole staff needs to be purged. I'm sorry. It's a fact. And what they're saying in the comments is true. Ross, we've been saying it for a while. We don't believe in Manny. We're done with it. You might as well pull the cord now, do what you got to do instead of keeping him on as a coach. I mean, if you think things are bad now, wait a couple more weeks. We still got UNC coming up.
We're getting the life sucked out of our program, and we're watching it happen on a weekly basis, and that's what kind of drives me nuts. We played Virginia today, guys. This is Virginia, a team that we should never be in a 4-quarter battle with. We should have easily been able to get that second half under control and win due to the fact that we have guys who are bigger, faster, and stronger than they are. We got out-coached. We simply got out-coached. And before I move on to this one, Alex Perez, thank you for the donation again.
Yes, sir.
He says, I looked up at the scoreboard, and halfway through the second, we had 28 yards on offense. I hate that this was my first Canes game, and I hate Manny. Man, I'm sorry that this was your first Canes game too, brother. I'm sorry. Thank you, Alex, though, for sticking with us, man. Thank you for being a loyal Canes fan. I know it's not going to be easy, but hopefully we get things right here in the future soon.
Well, we need to remember that the highlight of the University of Virginia, what they're known for, 2 things: shutting us out in the last game of the Orange Bowl, and then the other thing they're known for took place 220 years ago when Thomas Jefferson designed all their buildings, okay? So, that's who we're dealing with here. It's not a program that, Manny can't even get up there and say, hey, it's the University of Virginia. This is what they do. It's not what they do. They've never done this. They don't do this, right? They've had 3 good seasons in 100 years. I don't want to hear it.
They had a non-existent run game until today, and their defense was one of the worst in the nation. But lo and behold, they come and show up against us. And this was something I said in the pregame stuff. Virginia makes games ugly with us. They like to slow it down. They like to make it so things are just kind of muddy looking. That's where they find their advantage against us. They did that at times, and they did it too easily at times.
Yep. And so I meant to bring this up, just piggybacking on what Caleb said about Andy Borregales, our kicker. I love Andy. He's a good kid. I've gotten to know him personally a little bit. He's 18 years old, okay? He is a true freshman kicker. We should not be putting the game on the leg of a freshman kicker, right? 12 months ago, he's kicking for high school, okay? I have full confidence in him. I think that he will be an above-average kicker for the rest of the season. I think he has been an above-average kicker. I have no problems with him. But you have to remember, like, why are we staking an entire game on the leg of a true freshman? He's a true freshman. I mean, it doesn't matter the position, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's –
It doesn't.
Yeah, like – if you were expecting Tyler Van Dyke to make I mean, he's a redshirt freshman. But, like, if you're expecting a true freshman QB to make a throw, you have to go back and be like, hey, that was a true freshman. Like, what are we doing here? Like, where's the coaching? How are we in this situation? Okay? Or handing the ball off to a true freshman on the goal line, 4th and goal, game on the line. It's like, hey, that's a true freshman. You really, like, that's the situation you want?
There's a comment here in the chat that stands out to me because it's something that I've been vocal about as well. It says, Miami can't start strong ever. 7 points at half is a disgrace. What is going on? Why can we simply not get the ball moving in the first half? Caleb, is this all offensive line? Is it all play calling? Or is it quarterback play? What's going on?
I think it's a mix of everything. I think at first, well, at least for me, I saw in the first quarter that, Lashley, he was kind of, babying TVD a little bit with some of the play calls. He didn't really want to open it up or anything like that. And we also didn't take advantage. Like, I think on that first drive, we have a first down and it's knocked at the line of scrimmage. It would have been a first down, but it got knocked away. So that's a drive ender. On the next drive, I think it's like 3rd and 5, we have a first down, the receiver drops it. So we had chances, to continue those drives, but we didn't make it happen. And then the second quarter, I'm gonna be honest, second quarter offense was a disaster. O-line was getting pushed around. You couldn't pick up a 3rd and 1. I mean, the worst rushing defense in college football, and you couldn't do anything. We were making these guys look like a top 10 defense, honestly. It's ridiculous.
So I got a question for both you guys then, because, all of this is coming back to coaching to me. How much better of a coach is Bronco Mendenhall compared to Manny Diaz?
1,000 times.
Head and shoulders above?
Dude,
Bronco Mendenhall won his division. What has Manny done?
Good point.
Like we talked about this a little bit after we went off air last week, Ross. Okay, so I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I still live here, born and raised. Okay, so I watched Broncos BYU teams up close and personal. Okay, like those BYU teams would trot out a bunch of balding white dudes. Okay, and they were winning 10 games a year. And they're playing TCU and Utah and Boise State, okay? And they would win 10 games a year. They beat Sam Bradford in Oklahoma under Bronco, okay? And, dude, think about the talent BYU's getting. Those kids have, like, a very strict religious honor code, okay? If they break the rules, they get kicked out of school, And it's more strict rules than any coach would have to deal with, okay? So, like, I was saying this last week, that there was a huge coaching mismatch. There would be a huge difference in preparation and discipline, okay? And we saw it. This is one of Bronco's worst teams that he's had since he's been at Virginia. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but they were prepared. We weren't. They put their guys in a position to win. We didn't, okay? They are a lot less talented than we are, and they outplayed us for 4 quarters.
Well, the worst part about it is that when you feel like, because I'm gonna go off a little bit on a tirade here, because I saw something on Twitter. Some players were saying, pack the stands and then you can complain. Let me tell you, some of these fans, I'll say a good majority of them, care more about the university than the administration does. Then I would say some of the players. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because you see it on the sideline, some of these guys are lifeless. And what Jordan said is true. You take on the character of your head coach. Manny's like a mummy. He's like a zombie, if we're being honest with you. Where is that passion, that fire that he had when he was at DC? You don't see it anymore. The guy's like stone cold, doesn't do anything. the most emotion I've seen him had was when we got bombed on that 90-yard touchdown against Bama, and he was screaming because he was angry about the no holding call.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, it's a shame what this university is right now, what it's turned into. You know, it makes you feel like, are we ever going to get back there? You feel me? I'm 23 years old. You know what the best I've seen of Miami is beating Notre Dame. You know, that's the best I've seen. And it's a shame because, like, that was nothing because we ended up losing
the
Orange Bowl. You know,
I'm 28. That's the best I've seen, man. I got a 5-year head start on you, and I haven't seen anything better. So, I mean, the problems are very old.
I had a chance to actually see Miami football in its heyday. I'm 38 years old, guys. I'm the old guy right now. I got to see Miami dominate. I got to see them bully and slap other teams around. And the teams that I grew up rooting for at Miami would have slapped this Virginia team in the face. They would have pointed at them, and they would have made fun of them. Seriously. They would have never been on that field with us. They would have never competed for 4 quarters with us. This was a bad to mediocre team at all levels, and they beat us at home today.
I mean, but then again, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised because the past, if you think about it, ever since Manny's been the head coach, we're in dogfights with Virginia. You know, every single game we've gone against them has been a dogfight and could have gone either way. You know, this time honestly, we deserve to lose this game. If I'm gonna be real about it, we didn't play with the right amount of passion and effort, and you know, just like like these guys aren't at our level. Let's stomp on their neck, you know, and impose our will. And we didn't do that, you know. And it's just when you play around with your food, this is what happens. A better team doesn't do that. A well-coached team doesn't do stuff that we've been seeing for the past 3 years. It's the same old stuff, and it's a shame.
So I want to touch on your point of us not deserving this win. I'll probably take a lot of heat for this, and I don't care. I almost didn't want to win for exactly what you said, because I do not trust this program as an institution, right? Because if we squeak out a win tonight when we don't deserve it, okay, we play down to an opponent that has no business competing with us, okay? It's a poorly coached game, poor execution, poor preparedness. We have no business. If we win on a last-second field goal, how do you think our administration would brand this? How do you think the marketing would go? It would be a vote of confidence for Manny Diaz. See, Manny has what it takes to get it done late in games. No, he doesn't. We've seen it time and time again. How many times has Manny Diaz beat a team with a winning record?
Barely. It doesn't happen, especially if they're out of our conference.
Yeah. I don't know.
So here's the thing: is we have to have a direction, though. You know, we have to be able to right the ship somehow, or it just goes down even more. Is there any way to right this ship, or are we on a crash course headed straight down nosediving?
I'm gonna be as fully transparent as I can be, and I mean, Ross, we've been talking about it a lot. I still had a little bit of hope that, you know, maybe in conference play we would wake up a little bit, and maybe you know, I guess I was hoping against Logic that things might get better. But I mean, this game for me sealed it. You know, like I don't see how you can overcome this. This was Manny's last chance, and he blew it. And in my mind, I think we're just gonna snowball, and not in a positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. But, I mean, look at how we've been after bye weeks under Manny Diaz. You feel me? You trust this guy with 2 weeks to prepare for Sam Howell? Oh, man. I just think at this point, you know, the administration, I don't trust them to do it. But if they had any type of backbone, they would fire this guy. They will fire this guy and say, you know what? We need a monumental change in this program, because if we continue what we're doing, we're just running around in circles. We're spinning the wheel like a hamster. You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something, you know, different to happen. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. Once you take football serious, maybe things will improve. But if you're not going to take it serious, and we're just going to be the same old team, and that's not good enough.
Yeah. I tend to agree with the snowballing assessment. There is such a rotten culture at the University of Miami football program that goes back 15 years. Just look back through our wins and losses, our schedules over the last 15 years. There's not many seasons where you won't see a 3-game skid.
Yeah.
The wheels come off. When the wheels come off in our locker room, they really come off.
Yep.
There's no saving the season at this point, honestly. Because you're right. We're going to play the probable number 1 pick, perhaps, right? I don't know if he's still there on mock drafts. He was at one point, right? But Sam Howell, legit NFL QB prospect, okay? There's no way that our defense is going to hold him to anything, okay? The wheels are going to come off, man. It's going to get ugly from here. I really have a hard time. I think we're going to finish around 500, maybe a game better.
Wow.
That's being nice in my opinion. I could see worse than that. You see the rest of that schedule? It could get worse than that.
We can lose these next 3 games easily, guys. That's the problem with what we saw with the UVA game and how we went up against them and our weaknesses and some of our minor strengths we have, but mostly our weaknesses. All these next teams we're going to play can actually take advantage of them more than Virginia could. So these guys we're going to play actually could hit us in the gut even harder.
Yep. So sorry, I'm talking a lot, but Travis West just commented, anytime your punter is the best player on the team, it's an issue. Okay, I want to ask you guys a question. Hold on. He's been here for 3 years, okay? How many years or how many players have been better than him that we developed, that we recruited and developed in program?
That's a good question.
Because every player that's been better than Lou Hedley on this team in the last 3 years has been a transfer.
Rousseau took off, and probably the smartest thing he could have done was take off as early as he possibly could, because I think he saw the longer you stay in Manny Diaz's system, the worse you look.
He said, I'm out of here.
But, Rousseau's a good answer. Brevin Jordan could be a decent answer. I'd accept that.
I would have said DJ Dallas. I would have said DJ Dallas.
Yeah, but, dude, it's not a very long list of guys that have been better than Lou Hedley for our football team, more effective, more impactful, that were developed by our coaching staff. That is so horrible. So horrible. Okay, think about it, because true freshmen, I don't consider them being developed by our staff yet, right? Call me in 2 years, okay? Look at our team. The guys that we're all pissed off for underperforming are guys that have been in this system for a long time, okay? The guys that are making plays are raw. They're coming in, and they're letting their God-given ability shine through.
There's a comment here that I want to make sure we touch on, guys. Remember, this UVA offense didn't have one of their best weapons. Their tight end, Woods, wasn't even in the game. Imagine what he could have done to us being a physical presence over the middle and us not wrapping up. Just imagine.
He would have body bagged Gervin Hall. And let me tell you, Manny Diaz, the fact that it makes my head hurt to watch that guy play football, man. It's like that I couldn't imagine watching his film over after the game. I don't even know how you continue to play a guy like him oh man. And look, let me tell you, people want to say, Cam Kitchens dropped a pick. Well, at least he had a chance to get a pick. Gervin Hall slipping and sliding all over the place. He don't know what to do. I can remember there was a 3rd and 6 in the third quarter, and almost everyone was in the right position. And guess who wasn't? Gervin Hall. Let the receiver go right past him. 20-yard pickup. You just got to do your job, Papa. How hard is it? Honestly, how hard is it to play safety at Miami if we being real about it?
He's regressed, though. 2 years ago, we were talking about him as an asset.
Yeah. That's how quick it happens in Manny Diaz's defense, though. That one extra year you might choose to stay might be your downfall. Sadly, I hate to say that, because, of course, I want guys to come back to Miami. I want us to have our veteran presences and stuff like that. But if your veterans are your worst players, then it means nothing at all. and one point I want to touch on here too while we're talking about this. What the hell took so long to get Leonard Taylor on the field? He clearly can play football at the FBS level. There's no way that Manny Diaz can convince me that Taylor wasn't ready week 1 after what I've seen already. No way in hell.
No, I'll take it a step further. I think he's easily one of our 3 best D tackles. Might even be top 2. You feel me? And with Jared Harrison Hunt not playing today, how do you not play him almost the whole game? I don't understand. Jared Harrison Hunt is arguably our best D tackle. LT could have filled in for him. Honestly, man, it's too many times we have to say this where we ask, what is the coaching staff doing? If you have to ask that consistently, and it's a problem, man. Ain't nothing you could do about it. Until they try and change something, it's going to be the same old thing.
Yeah. Accountability goes all the way to the top. That's the problem, is that, our school is known for football, okay? Even our medical facilities, which have now become a big part of what the University of Miami does, they use the football logo, okay? Because that's where everything borrows credibility, okay? I was a history major. That stuff's important. It might not seem important, but that's important, okay? Where people get authority in a social sense is very important, okay? And even our medical facilities have to borrow authority from the football program. Yet there is no accountability in the football program from the bottom to the top. Did you guys see Julio Frank's letter to the fan base? Okay, so he says, I'm going to get more involved, okay? But how's he going to get more involved? He's going to have more bureaucrats between him and Blake James, okay? That's what he said. I'm going to augment my involvement by putting 2 more bureaucrats below me, so really I don't have to do anything. I'm just throwing more personnel at a problem, okay? Well, you know what? How about the university, because we have to borrow authority from the football program, how about we hire a president who knows football, okay? A president who will demand excellence on the football field as well as our other interests, okay, in marine biology and the medical field, okay? That's fine, okay? But there just has to be accountability. There's no accountability between Blake James and Julio Frank. How in the world does he know what's happening on the football team? He has no idea.
No.
I mean, you're saying facts. It's true. That's what I said. Like, they don't care. Straight up. Yeah. They just trying to collect. They trying to collect their money, and that's it. Yep. The ACC paying them. That's it. Yep. They don't care. Why do you think they've been putting out all these press releases? Why do you think Julio Frank posted something on Twitter today? Why do you think that Manny is responding to what Herbstreit said? They know that the fans, they know that they're a national laughingstock. The University of Miami football team is a laughingstock right now. Nobody takes us serious. You know what people do? They look at us and they laugh and they see, wow, what a shame. How far, the mighty have fallen.
We are the example of what not to do in college football. We are the blueprint on what not to do in college football if you want success. And before we get going, Ohio Kane, thank you for the $5 donation. It says Manny's got to go. Enough is enough. I mean, I feel you, bro. We're all in the same. Every fan is basically calling for Manny's head now. So I think it's a matter of time. Yeah. I mean, is this something to where we're just going to allow the snowball to happen and possibly go under 500? Or do you guys think that we'll actually make the move mid-season to fire him and bring in an interim guy?
I'll let you go first, Jordan. I'll let you go first.
What I think we should do, here's the deal, is you can play this the right way or you can play this the wrong way, okay? I think it would be smart of us to make the move mid-season, okay? And then we use the marketing department or whatever, we use the press for us to make us look attractive, okay? So you put all the freshmen out on display. Okay, you fire Manny Diaz, okay, and then you get Jake Garcia and Tyler Van Dyke starting, okay? You get Leonard Taylor starting. You get James Williams and Cam Kinchins and, Chase Smith and Rooster. You put all the young weapons out there. You make us look like the hottest up-and-coming job, okay? You make us look really attractive. Other stuff is happening, okay? Say Oregon goes on a 3-game skid, okay? We start to look pretty good, Penn State goes on a skid. James Franklin's like, hey, look at what Miami has down there. That's only a 2-year rebuild for me. They got 5-star talent already.
Yeah.
And I'm just throwing out hypotheticals, right? That if you play your cards right, you could actually go quite a long way in making us look attractive as a vacant destination. What you don't want is more of Zach McLeod lining up at defensive end. You don't want more of our talent being buried, okay? And so that we look like a dumpster fire, because we do right now. You don't want us to look like a dumpster fire. You want people to look at that and be like, man, they got young studs. They have underclassmen studs at almost every position. If I went there, one good recruiting class, we're competing for an ACC title.
It doesn't take much.
You can't tell me that a guy like Lane, like let's say Lane Kiffin, let's say he doesn't even make the SEC championship. Okay. I mean, he probably won't because he's in that West division, right? At least I think. But, he's seeing all of our freshmen. Okay. And Matt Corral's gone. That's going to look pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. If we make this move, is there any guy currently on our staff that could take over the interim head coach that would give you maybe a little hope? Is there anybody that you'd like to see get that opportunity?
No. No. What? No, man. No. Look, ain't nothing saving us. Nothing. What Jordan said is the blueprint. That's absolutely the blueprint. You play all the young guys. You say, look, all you old guys, thank you for your service to the university. Here's your pink slip. You're not playing the rest of the year. We got to, showcase these young guys and make us look attractive. Because right now, we look like dog food, and expired dog food at that. And, look, there's only one guy for me that I think could come in here, and I think I think this guy, if I know everybody's gonna say, oh, it's the same guy. If Mario Cristobal got this job, I think we could be in the ACC title by next season. I legitimately believe that. Honestly, I legitimately believe he would be able. It's just that's just what I feel. Honestly, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I think he's good enough as a coach, and he would build a staff that's good enough that could do it.
Yep.
But I agree with Jordan. I mean, I love Lane Kiffin. Yeah, I would love Lane Train over here. And that's one option. But let me tell you, man, you got to rip the Band-Aid off now. You got to do it. It's not worth keeping this guy when I'm going to keep it a buck. I know some people in the program, and I've heard some of the players, they don't take him serious. They think he a substitute teacher. They think, oh, you my friend, but I don't respect you. And it's just a fact. I saw on the sidelines today, he tried to talk to 2 players. Guess what they did? They said they did like that. They brushed him right off. They didn't even give him the time of day, and that's your head coach.
Yeah.
If your players are doing that during a game, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Well, there's no respect, man. And why is there respect? I mean, like, it's the fear, right? I mean, there's probably other stuff too, but it's the fear. Like, Manny has spent so much time trying to be cool and trying to be friends with his players by doing slip and slides after beating a 3-8 team or whatever.
Yep.
Doing the wrestling night, doing the yacht, all that stuff. Like, he's trying to be cool, right? I mean, did you guys ever grow up as kids? You're growing up, you have that one friend where his dad is way more concerned with being his son's friend than being a parent. Okay?
Yep.
You know that kid's going to turn out to be a knucklehead.
Yep.
Throughout his whole life.
Yep.
You know he's going to be a knucklehead.
That was a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. He never had anyone to crack him on the back of the head and be like, hey, don't be an idiot. We don't have that in our program.
Accountability.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I've talked about accountability all night. I'm just packaging it in different forms now at this point. But we need people to crack our young guys upside the head and be like, hey, man, like, you're smarter than that. Don't be making that play.
it's just honestly, we care more about, the glitz and the glamour and the BS stuff, the chain. I mean, look, I got a chain, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Diaz and this whole staff, and I don't want to say this whole staff because there's a few staff members that I think are good coaches, but they look bad now because the whole team looks bad.
Yeah.
And I think
is T-Rob being allowed to coach the secondary guys, or is
No.
this T-Rob coaching Manny Diaz a secondary?
this T-Rod doing what Manny tells him to do. You playing 10 yards off a receiver on 3rd and 2. 3rd and 4, you giving them like a 6-7 yard cushion. And then you're surprised when they pick up the 3rd down. It's a joke. Look, and I'm someone who was a Manny supporter defensively. Ross can tell you, I capped a lot for him. He hoodwinked me.
Yeah. I think, there's a lot of problems here, man. Because, Caleb mentioned Mario Cristobal, okay? And I would love to have Mario Cristobal. I think he's probably the best candidate for the job right now. And that's including anybody. I think all things considered, Mario would probably be the best and smartest hire that we could make long term. My problem, though, is I think we need a change of athletic director before. I'm not sure if Mario comes in and he's handcuffed. First of all, he probably never would agree to that, okay? Because he wanted this job the first time around. He probably got a peek at how this program is managed, okay? If he comes in, he's going to be handcuffed, okay? Because he'd go into Blake's office and, be getting upset or whatever, and Blake's just going to be like, whatever. You know what I mean? There's no accountability in this program. Take your anger elsewhere.
Yeah.
There's no way that Mario's going to go for that. Why would he? He has it made up in Oregon. There's no reason for Mario to come out here. Yeah, we're a joke. We're a joke from top to bottom. We don't develop players. There's no accountability. I mean, we should have fired Manny Diaz 2 games ago. We really should have.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with you. We're laughing stock. That's what we are.
We should have fired Blake James after the FIU loss because he hired Manny Diaz in 6 hours, and then we suffered our worst loss in program history. That's on Blake James. Okay, he should have been fired 2 years ago. I don't even know Julio Frank got this job. I don't know how he did. We're a football school.
I feel like that this is one of those things that, you hear guys talk about how a guy ties himself to a sinking ship or something like that. I feel like Blake James tied himself to the Manny Diaz sinking ship, and I feel like he's dumb enough to be willing to go down with that ship. And that's just – it's insane. It's insane. We can't sit here and say that Blake James hasn't done anything for the university. We can't say that. We've made some improvements, but these improvements don't reflect to on-field success. That's my issue. We're spending money just to spend money.
In any program, look at football and basketball and baseball. Is there a single sport that you can look at that you say, you know what, we are better off now than we were the day that Blake stepped on campus?
Absolutely not.
No.
The athletic program, athletics is in shambles. Let's call a spade a spade. That's where we're at. Baseball team stinks. Basketball team stinks. Football team reeks. It's just dumb and dumber. That's what we are right now.
There's a comment here that I want to touch on, guys, because it's something that I've been vocal about as well. We should give a 3-year contract instead of a 5 to every coach to come here so they can prove it. They want the extension. Sick of this. Nobody want to hear no more politics. We want to be better. I get it. I saw no reason to give Manny Diaz that 5-year deal. He did absolutely nothing to earn that. A 3-year deal could have actually kept him maybe a little more motivated, could have put that fire under his ass a little earlier. But that 5-year deal, I feel like it's almost kind of given him a little comfort, giving him a little cushion to where he feels like he doesn't have to be a top guy. He can just kind of go through the motions until next season when he really needs to put it on. Now, if he survives that long, we'll see. That's the question. We don't know if he's going to survive.
Well, I agree. I think that's great in theory, especially for a guy like Manny Diaz. He only should have got a 3-year contract. The problem is, though, how attractive are we a job? when we're chasing the big fish like Mario, you really think we can be like, hey, Mario, I know you love it up in Oregon. I know you just won your third straight Pac-12 championship. I know you made it to the playoff this year. I know you have a blank check every season from Phil Knight. I know players love going there because of all your uniforms and stuff. However, you should come here on a 3-year deal.
Yeah, why would he want to leave the Nike machine? That's something I don't know if fans quite understand how big that machine is. That machine practically recruits for the University of Oregon. It does not take an all-world recruiter to land players there. Nike is doing a lot of that hard work.
Yeah, and you can apply that to any coach, okay? Because I think we all agree that we need a proven coach that is serious, that has a track record of serious success. Now, my question is, though, if you want that criteria, why would he come here on a 3-year deal? Like that's the problem. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect that comment, because for a guy like Manny Diaz, absolutely, because his only other option is Temple, okay? That's when we're holding the cards. A 5-year deal for Manny was ludicrous. But, if we're going to go after Lane Kiffin, hey, 3-year deal, buddy. He's like, no, I'm good. I got 3 years on my contract here at Ole Miss.
I'll give you a little something. He's going to say vaffanculo. That means something not too good in Italian. Just saying.
Yeah, right.
So, I look, honestly, man, it's just Blake James. We all know. We know what it is at this point. The people who really care about this program, they know what's been going on the past 3 years.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are still oblivious, and they'll still say, "Oh, give Manny some more time." He inherited, a bad situation. Mark Richt, his last year wasn't good here. Let me tell you what Manny inherited. He inherited his own damn defense because he recruited all of those guys. I don't want to hear anything about recruiting. I don't want to hear it. Manny, how are you gonna say, "Oh, I still need 2 more classes"? You need 2 more classes, my guy. You've recruited damn near this whole defense since you've been here.
Yep.
So are you saying that you're a bad recruiter? Are you saying that maybe, the people you have on your staff aren't good recruiters? You can't have it both ways. And that's why he's a swindler and he's a politician's son to a T. He'll always tell you what you want to hear, and it's a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
Remember, like I told you guys, what do politicians do? They spend their entire time in office trying to convince the public they're working hard while doing as little work as humanly possible. That is a politician. All talk, no substance. Unfortunately, that seems to be where our head coach is right now. He seems to have learned directly from Daddy that, if you just say the right things at the right time, people are going to forgive you and people are going to forget. Well, the thing is that he's not the mayor of Miami. He's the coach at the University of Miami. 2 totally freaking different worlds, but yet he's treating it like it's a politician's job. And to me, that's kind of shows how stale we are and how the lack of substance that we truly have. Because when it is all talk, it's only a matter of time until that falls apart. You can't be all talk for more than 2 years, basically. You can fake it for a year or 2, but the wheels start coming off, and we're seeing that right now. And I think this is about the time where that would come off for any team that was dealing with a swindler.
No, and I think another thing is that, you got to start thinking, why is he missing out on a lot of top targets recruiting wise? I think he's a very disingenuous person, straight up. I've met him 3 times, and those were at Hurricane Club, member events. And he seems like, you could tell he doesn't keep things a buck. Some people, I'm the type of person that if I get a vibe off someone, and I think a lot of people are like that too. And sometimes you can tell there's something a little off about someone. And he's one of those people, he's just, he always seems like he's trying to, care to the crowd. He wants people to like him instead of just being honest. And I think that's why he's in this position right now. People want to say, "Oh, he's made changes. He got rid of Baker. He got rid of Enos." Well, who you think he got Enos? He chose Enos. He got Lashley. And these guys, they haven't gotten the job done. Everybody said, "Oh, well, he's give him some time." Look, forget time. It's done with. In this day and age of college football, you don't get that much time. You saw FSU; they got rid of Tiger halfway through his second year. They should have gotten rid of Manny after his first year, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So honestly, at this point, I'm not holding my breath on them getting rid of him, during the season. If they had any heart, they would do it. But I don't think they do. So we'll just have to see what happens, honestly.
I don't see it happening.
Here's my thing I see with Manny Diaz is that he's working way too hard at the wrong stuff. He's working at stuff that has no importance or no real chance to give us something successful in the future, basically. He has spent his time basically doing promotional gigs. That seems to be what he does. He does promotional gigs, and he tries to be the used car salesman 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That disingenuous feeling, it's going to be something in recruiting that kind of filters its way down. When one kid, especially an elite kid at a certain school, when he starts to feel a certain way, he starts talking to his teammates about it. His teammates start talking to their teammates about it. It starts to trickle down throughout the area. And I'm worried that the longer we keep a hold of Manny Diaz, the less and less chances we will have to get a coach to come in to get these recruits that we need, while having to, it could be something to where we have to battle for 2 or 3 years just to get back into the mix.
I see that happening, honestly. I see it happening, and it's a shame because, people want to say, oh, these South Florida kids, they're sellouts. They go to these other places. Well, would you want to come to Miami? Would you want to send your son to Miami with how the state of the program? I don't blame the kids for not coming here. No. I'm not going to blame them because you know what? We haven't done enough for them to want to come here. Yep. That's why I respect James and LT so much, because they came here when they had plenty of other options. And they said, you know what? I want to stay home and I want to make, my hometown team great. But I'm not going to blame other kids for not having that same mindset, because at the end of the day, college football is a business. They're trying to go to the place where they can get developed, they can do good, and they can have the opportunity to win. And right now, you don't have that at Miami. You don't have it. So how are you going to get angry at a recruit for not coming here? I don't understand that. The fan base has to chill with that, in my opinion.
Even though you're a Canes fan, if you had a kid who had an NFL future, would you want him on this team with the lack of development we have on both sides of the ball?
Not at all. I've actually talked to the parent of a recruit, and I'll keep that anonymous for obvious reasons. But that's essentially how the conversation went. It was, hey, I love Miami, but I'm a dad now.
Yeah.
I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I got to do what's best for my kid.
Yep.
And you know what? That's probably not Miami. And I was like, what can I say to that? Yeah. What can I say to that?
Hey, honestly, that's what a lot of these top recruits, their parents from down here, they're gonna have the same mindset. They are. Look, how are you going to tell Shamar's story? He came today for the game. Jaleel Skinner was there. Najee Kelly was there. How are you going to tell their families Miami's the place for you? Yeah. You're going to come here. Yeah. You're going to do good. You're going to get developed. How can you tell them with a straight face? You can't, because there's no substance to that. And that's what this school is right now. It's a school that's a lot of BS, a lot of cap, a lot of, rings, touchdown rings. Oh, you're taking pictures when you're losing. You bring out the chain when you're losing to a mediocre football team. We're a joke. And honestly, recruits, if you come here, I respect you a lot, because you must really care about this program. And we need more people like you. But I'm not going to hold it against you. If you want to go somewhere else and get developed, hey, more power to you. Because at the end of the day, if Miami cared about football the way they should, we wouldn't be in this predicament. We have only ourselves to blame. The people at the top have let football fall off the wayside. And that's what happens when you don't really care.
It's infuriating, man. I mean, I know I've talked about this point so many times, between Twitter and the different platforms that I'm on. I just need someone to make it make sense to me, okay? Our whole university borrows authority from the football team, okay? Look at our official letterhead. It has the green and orange U on it, okay? It's not some block font thing like most schools have, you know. We use the football logo for everything. Okay? It's on the side of hospitals, okay? It's on official letterhead. Okay? It's on official buildings. It's on everything. Okay? It has weight. The logo holds weight, yet they won't maintain it, man. They won't maintain it.
It's mishandling a multi-million-dollar company. Basically, if somebody handed you $100 million company and you kept screwing it over, do you think you'd have a job there anymore? No. If you're losing them money, you're not going to keep that job. So here's the thing is, while Blake James might have been able to turn a profit a little bit with some of the football stuff going on, long term, it's simply not viable. It's not viable at all. And when you hit that point to where you're kind of teetering on that, if things go downhill quick, dude, it can be like a gut punch to a program. It can be a damn near like a death blow to a program to where they truly have to start over. But maybe that's where we are at Miami. Maybe we do need to suck so bad that we have to blow the entire thing up and basically say, all of you guys that had positions here that had something to do with the football team, you're gone because you sucked at your job.
Yep.
I think that needs to be happen. It has to. There needs to be a cleanse, straight up. You know, and it's straight up. And I mean, I pray it happens. I really do. And you know, I was thinking before the year there was two ways this season was going to go. You know, Manny was either going to step up and go 11-1, or he was going to fail, and the wheels were going to fall off, and we were going to go into the abyss. We're looking at the abyss right now, and it's staring right back at us.
Oh, dude, we are knee deep in the abyss.
Yeah.
We're not even just headed there. We are almost up to our waist at this point in the abyss.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. And I think honestly at this point, you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, if we continue to lose, maybe, you know, it'll force them to do something. I mean, it shouldn't come to that though. You feel me? Like you see all these programs that care about football, they don't let things get this bad. Honestly, I mean, you know, people want to say that 56 point loss to Clemson was the bottom. We might be getting to the bottom soon under Manny. If we keep him, we're going to be Nebraska.
Yeah. Well,
and Nebraska's they're never going to get out where they're at, because even Scott Frost, I thought he was a good coach. And if he can't get them out of there, they're really done for. Yeah. If we do not do what we have to do, and that is get rid of Manny, get rid of Blake James, get a clean start. If we don't do it, we're heading into we're going to be irrelevant. We're already almost irrelevant. But if you really want to test things out, continue doing what you're doing and keep the same people, and you're going to see, like, we're just going to disappear.
Yeah. You know, I want to touch back on the letter, the open letter that Julio Frank published earlier today, the president of the university. I don't have a direct quote in front of me, but he talked a lot about, you know, the distractions, the obstructions in college football that's blurring the lines of amateur and professional. Yeah. You know, he gave a lot of excuses, okay? A lot of excuses. And then he also mentioned how, you know, we're more than just a football program. The university has other priorities. Even within the athletic department, more than just on-field success is academic success. To me, what I took from that is, you know, I feel like he was addressing the fact that his name was being thrown around on ESPN for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Like at that point, he had to say something. And I felt like he was trying to placate that, but was also slipping in some verbiage in there that was to the point of, don't get us confused with Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson, because we are a institution of learning. You know, like cool. You're a university.
We're a medical school. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what it felt like. Is he's like, hey, look, I get you guys are upset, you're emotional, all that stuff, but you have to remember we're a university first.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, that's not what you want to say to this mob, you know? Because,
no, of course.
Because as I said earlier, the entire institution borrows authority from the football team.
Yes.
Okay? Without the football team, why in the world would anyone in America care about a small private school that nobody can afford in Coral Gables, Florida. Why would anybody in America care about that school without football? Honestly, okay? I'm from Salt Lake City. Why would I care about that school at all? The rude answer or the true answer is I wouldn't. It's unremarkable, okay? Cool, you got medical school, okay? Well, that's going to apply only to medical students. They're going to be the only people that know who you are. People that want to be doctors and people that want to be marine biologists. So if you want to neglect the football program, good. Get used to being irrelevant.
Yeah. If you want less money to spend on all the little fun things you want to do and all the little side projects, keep ignoring the football team. Wait till the point when the football team is no longer turning a profit. That's when we start seeing real issues, guys. Blake James happened to turn a profit with this team. I don't know how, but he happened to turn a minor profit. If we start getting in the red, and like Jordan said, we're a small private school. We can't afford to take big hits like that all the time. This is where things get maybe a little more pressured, a little more a push into the future for us is, like we talked about, things getting so bad that we have to make that move. And maybe this is where we are, guys. Maybe there's no other way out of this, and maybe this is what's going to happen no matter what. Will Clough, thank you. So is Notre Dame, Julio, but look at them. Not sure which his comment there was, but I guess he's talking to someone in the chat room. So, guys, hey, we're a little over an hour now. We're going to be cutting it short here soon. I just got a question for you two guys before we get off of here, though. So after seeing what we saw today, and Jordan, you can go first on this one. After seeing what we saw today, what do you want to see next week or in the next game? What do you truly want to see right away?
For the next game, do I have to be specific to football? Because I want fire and brimstone between now and then, man.
Dude, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
I don't care. I want what I was saying earlier. I want, as Caleb called it, the blueprint, okay? I want a purge. I want Blake to get pink slipped. I want Manny to get pink slipped. I want most of our athletic department to be gonzo by then, okay? And I want to see Jake Garcia and Tyler Van Dyke splitting snaps. I want to see Leonard Taylor, Chance Williams, Chase Smith, Cam Kinchins, James Williams. I want those guys starting on defense, okay? I never want to see Will Mallory again, okay? I want to see Cody Brown getting carries, okay? I want to see all the receivers that were here last year. I never want to see them again besides X, okay? Like, give me Jacoby George, Romello Brinson, Brashard Smith, and Charleston Rambo. I want to get him to the NFL because he's too good for our team. I want him, like, I am so embarrassed that he came to this dumpster fire of a program, okay? Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see the rebuild start next Saturday. Like, I'm just over it. I'm over it.
You're ready for it. Caleb, what do you want to see, man? What do you want to see in this near future from Miami?
I mean, Jordan spitting facts, man. He's spitting facts. Look, forget pink slip. I need Manny and Blake on a ship and ship them anywhere. Ship them to a whole nother. Ship them to the gulag. That's what they should be for what they done. I mean, look, get rid of all of them and just roll with all the young guys, man. You're not winning nothing this year. But the rest of this season is to see what you have in the young guys and to see between TVD and Jake who can separate from one another and really give themselves a leg up on who's going to start next year. Because best believe those two guys are legit. Yeah. And I think we got, I know this is saying a lot. I think those are two potential future NFL quarterbacks. Yeah, if they get developed properly, they got the potential, they got the intangibles, they're leaders. I think they can do it. But we have to put the right system around them, and we have to put them in a position to be successful. Yeah. And, I just think, what, UNC, it's going to be a tough game. It's probably going to be a really rough game. But I'm not looking at wins and losses the rest of the year. I'm looking at the development of the 2020 class and the 2021 class. 2019 and 2018, good luck, because I'm happy you guys got your degree, because you're not playing football after you finish at UM. It's just, you know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you might as well face the facts now, you know?
Alex Perez, thank you for the $1.99 donation. He said we might honestly have a chance of going 5-7 or 6-6. That is a realistic issue that we are running into right now, and it's kind of echoing what we're saying. We're all pretty worried that things aren't going to get right. That we're kind of broken, and it's not something that can be fixed anymore until philosophies and the mindsets are basically purged from this team and washed away completely.
So,
These guys, it's not just having bad coaches come in and coach the team bad. It's about development. The next set of coaches that come in are going to have to not only get Miami on the right track, but they have to fix all the problems that Manny Diaz instilled in them. That's not an easy job to do.
yeah. Is it true that Garcia won't be back before November? I'm seeing that in the comments.
I'm not sure.
I haven't heard about that
Well,
yet.
I mean, if that's the case, man, then hopefully he can get a red shirt. That might help us out.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Well, man, Canes fans, we had about 200 of you guys in here today after the game. We're an hour and 5 minutes into it. We're going to call it right now. Unfortunately, we had a very, very tough loss against a very mediocre to bad team. As you guys can tell, we're not sure exactly which direction we're going to go in, but the one thing we can all agree on is we have to have change, and it has to happen basically immediately if we want any chance at all whatsoever.
I hope it's
D. Hernandez, thank you for the $10 super sticker here before we're getting off, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All the guys that
Thank you.
showed us love tonight. Canes fans, thank you so much. You got a chance to watch us here on Mark Rogers TV, the Canes post-game show. We're going to be here every week doing this, good or bad, win or loss. Even if we have to be miserable as hell like we were today, we're going to drag right through it, guys, no matter what. So thank you so much for joining us. And no matter what, even if we aren't doing our greatest, it's all about the you, boys. It's all about the you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.